the bad guys. Donald Trump seems to get indicted on a weekly basis, yet he's utterly dominating his Republican rivals, and they can't understand it, right? They can't understand it in the polls. And he's tied with Joe Biden, the general election. He's ahead as well. Trump's poll numbers are stronger against Biden now than at any time in 2020. What's going on here? Why is this guy still politically viable after all he's done? Well, has he done all that stuff, right? Or is it just your... we anti-Trumpers often tell a story to explain that. It was encapsulated in a quote from the University of North Carolina political scientist Mark Heffridge to my colleague Thomas B. Edithel recently. Republicans see the world changing around them uncomfortably fast. Yes, we don't like the kids cutting their tits off and castrating themselves. You're right. Right, that's uncomfortably fast for us, right? And I love it when they say, oh, so it's not happening to a small number of people. Like when they say abortion, like late-term abortion, it's only like 1%. How many lynchings are you okay with? Like, I mean, black people being lynched. I think Republicans being lynched, you're fine with it, right? Republicans see the word, if you're a person of color, woman who has values of gender equality, excuse me, we have values of gender equality. You have no values, right? Or an LGBT person, about 30% of the chat is gay. So like about 30% of my audience is gay. Would you want to go back to 1963? I don't want to go back to 19. I want to go back to 2015. Right? 2015 was fucking awesome. Everything looked good in 2015. I'm sorry. Right? I mean, yeah, look, the Obama destroyed a lot of the world and things have gone bad. But man, we had great TV, we had great movies, Marvel was doing good. 2015 was fine. All right. 2013, the 50th anniversary. Yeah, I'll go back to that. I don't want to go back to 63. In this story, anti-Trumpers are the good guys, the force of the progress and enlightenment, but the Trumpers are reactionary bigots and authoritarians. Many Republicans support Trump no matter what. That's not true. I mean, again, listen, I have to tell you, the better candidate clearly is Vivek Ramaswamy. Clearly the better candidate if you want to win, right? And also, I think it'll be great in the White House. According to this story, because at the end of the day, he's still the bigot in chief. Yeah, Ken, this is fine. He's going to talk himself down for this. The embodiment of all their resentment, and that's what matters most. Yeah, this is the insanity they keep screaming to themselves relentlessly. I partly agree with the story, but it's a monument. It's a monument to at least self-satisfaction. Bloody hell! Finally, it's breaking through. So let me try another story on you. I ask you to try on the vantage point in which we anti-Trumpers are not the eternal good guys. In fact, we're the bad guys. The story begins in the 1960s when high school grads had to go to Vietnam, but children of the educated class got college deferments. That's coming. Now, if they start a draft, you can guarantee the people they're drafting are the red-hatted people. 100%. They'll probably like exempt black people as well, right? For racial equality. Either they'll do it openly or clandestinely. But yeah, I mean, I'm sorry they haven't started the draft yet. But yeah, that's a great way to thin out the opposition. It continued in the 70s when authorities imposed busing on working class areas in Boston, but not in the upscale communities. Like, well, okay, that's true. The idea we're all in this together was replaced with the reality that the educated class lives in a world up here and everybody else is forced to live in a world down there. Members of our class are always publicly speaking about marginalized, but somehow we always end up building systems that serve ourselves. You noticed that, did you? Well done. The most important of those systems is the modern meritocracy. There is no meritocracy. We built an entire social order that sorts and excludes people on the basis of the qualities that we possess most. Academic achievement, highly educated. Here's the thing: just because you have an academic achievement doesn't mean you're smart. It means you're look at Hunter Biden. It means you're educated, right? That's all. Highly educated parents go to elite schools, marry each other, and work in high-paying professional jobs and pour enormous resources into our children who get the same elite schools, marry each other, and blah, blah, blah. David Marcus summarizes, we'll get to the point. The meritocracy isn't the only system of exclusion. It's an ethos. During the president Barack Obama used to use the word smart in the context of policies over 900 times. The implication is anybody who disagrees with his policies and perhaps didn't go to Harvard Law must be stupid. They love that fantasy. Over the last decades, I guess the point. Now we're not only a college-dominated profession, we're an elite college-dominated profession with only 0.8% of college graduates from super elite 12 schools. Okay, get to the point. Elite graduates monopolize the best job. Okay, members of blah, 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 blah. When we get, okay, look at this. Like all elites, we use language and more as tools to recognize one another and exclude others. Words like problematic, cisgender, Latinx, well, you're on the money there. And intersectional are a sure sign you've got a cultural capital coming out your ears. Meanwhile, members of the less educated classes walk on eggshells because they never know when we change the uses of the rules. So that's something that was sayable 5 years ago will now get you fired. We're also in charge of the moral norms. Well, you're not really, you're in charge of the media, right? The media projection of the moral norms in ways that suit ourselves, never the cost of others. I mean, again, look at when they bust again, this was when DeSantis was good. Look at when they bust all the illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. That was such a microcosm of what he's talking about here. After social normals eroded, the funny thing happened. Members of our class still overwhelmingly married and then had children within wedlock, right? Yeah, they are anti everything that builds good people, like family education. Okay, God, are Trump supporters right that the indictments are just political witch hunts? Of course not. Why would you say? Here's the thing that amazes me, right? Absolutely amazes me. The people who write shit like this are aghast at the notion that the DOJ is working with Biden. Said, but there's so many layers in between them. I'm like, would they for a minute believe that if it was a Trump government going after Hunter Biden? Like, for a second, or Joe Biden, would they believe that? Of course they wouldn't, right? If distrust is excuse me. If distrustful populism is your basic welfare, the Trump indictment seems another skirmish on the class war between. I mean, like, fine. He's finally starting to get the idea, right? But man, it's not easy coming, right? It's not easy getting through to these. Again, the trouble with being overeducated is, you work hard to not listen, right? Which is why I see it over and over again. No, I think that all ties together. There's a few things. There's a few things that are all going to tie together. First, let's talk about, we're going to go from Megan Rapaport to the Punisher to April O'Neil, right? And it's all the same story, right? The same story. And the story is a hatred of America and American values, right? That's something that Megan Rapaport has always had, an absolute hatred of America and American values. Oh, we also got some news stories to get to. Let's start off with this, right? With this whole taking a knee thing, right? I'm sorry, mate. If you're not proud of your country, you can't represent your country, right? And Megan Rapaport is not proud of her country. She hates her country. She hates everything it stands for, right? So that's why when this happened, when she missed that goal, let's have a look at the video. People cheered, right? This is actually a funny version of it. Like, why are people happy to see her fail, right? Because she hates you, and she has no qualms about telling you how much she hates you, right? Oh, if John Hurt was a doctor back in the 1990s, I would much rather have Patterson Joseph, like young Patterson Joseph from Neverwhere. Well, he's been in a bunch of stuff, but Neverwhere, that would have been great. Right foot's it off. Like, not even close. Doesn't even bounce off. Right foot.
Hits it over the bar.
And she's like, I assume she's laughing out of embarrassment, but maybe she just wanted to end the tour. She just wanted to be done. She didn't want to do this anymore, right? That's the theory there going on. But I think that, I think what's going on with this, why are people happy about this? I'll show you exactly why people are happy about this. It's not only does she hate America, she hates American values, right? I mean, like oftentimes when you win a medal, you go, well, it wasn't just me, it was a team. Humility. Humility is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a thing that's somewhat missing, I think, from, is this the one?
What do you have to say?
Not only that.
What do you deserve?
I deserve this. No, it's not like it wasn't a team. I deserve, and this is the scream from millennials, like this disgusting entitlement, which is again axiomatic to American values, to Western values, to good Western values of humility, right? Why are people happy to see CFL? Because she's awful.
Deserve all of it. Everything. You deserve this. What do you have to say?
Not only that.
What do you deserve? You deserve all of it. Everything. You deserve this.
Yeah, and now if that wasn't enough to convince you, we have this as well. Here's her with a fan. It's this one, isn't it? Yeah. Well, see what you're bloody wearing, darling. I mean, like, you're not really hot enough for that. She's signing a ball. He doesn't even fucking look at him. Like, again, look, I see Trump engage with people, like genuinely engage with people. And people like Megan Rapinoe always say, it's all a fake, it's all a cut. And if it is, at least he's fucking doing it and you're not, right? And you're bloody not. So I think the glee with her failure is you're seeing a failure of her entire worldview, right? Which is what we're seeing right now. Again, my super Democrat neighbor told me that they said this the other day, hasn't been watching MSNBC for the last few months and is much happier. I mean, one of the reasons much happier is because like firstly, they're designed to make you miserable. But secondly, she knows they're full of shit, and the amount of mental energy you got to go through to convince yourself that they're obviously lying, right? And they obviously have a like again. Why would Merrick Garland help Joe Biden? Oh, he got because they're all corrupt together. Anyway, Chuck Dixon explains why Marvel hates the Punisher, and I think the same thing is true about why Megan Rapinoe hates you. Right, and she does. She absolutely hates you. But yeah, Marvel hates the Punisher. They really do. Longtime Punisher writer Chuck Dixon recently went in-depth on why he believes Marvel Comics hates the Punisher. In episode 152 of his Ask Chuck Dixon series on YouTube, the gunslinger asked, Chuck, I've been a fan of the Punisher since I was a kid. You know why you're a fan of the Punisher? Because he's cool. That's the first thing. But the great thing about the Punisher is he allows you to indulge your violent tendencies, or your enjoyment of violence, right? For good. It's kind of like an updated Batman, right? So that's the main reason I think people enjoy Punisher. What are we up to? Do they hate the Punisher because he doesn't fit into their vision, or do they hate him because they hate the idea of fans liking the idea that refutes most of their heroes don't kill argument? I don't think it's the latter. So I'm intrigued to hear what he has to say. Dixon responded, they don't hate him for the reason that DC doesn't like Guy Gardner and fans that like the Punisher for the same reasons they don't hate him for the same reason that DC doesn't like Guy Gardner and fans like the Punisher for the same reason they like Guy Gardner. Interesting. Most comic book characters are either brainiacs, mutants, scientists, whatever. There's very few superheroes that have blue collar origins. That's very good, and they hate poor people. I mean, yes, Those elite people who wrote that New York Times article, yeah, they hate poor people. They're disgusted by poor people. That's why they hate Trump. He was okay before he was trying to do things for poor people, but he's a poor person with a lot of money, right? He has that poor person attitude, and that's why everything he does is like covered in gold and very gaudy. And listen, love him to bits, quite tacky. And don't get me wrong, I get again, I so believe that Vivek Ramaswamy is the greatest candidate possible, and I'm still 100% backing Trump, right? Frank Castle and Guy Garner are blue-collar heroes. They are average guys driven to extremes, and a lot of readers' response to that because a lot of readers aren't brainiacs, mutants, or scientists. They are driving a truck, stocking shelves, working for a paycheck. It's not a bad thing to do. People's response to these characters are because of their origins and because they have blue collar origins. They are when they are written correctly, they say stuff and do stuff that other comic book characters won't. They don't have the same mores and the same code. He said. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the difference between. It was the reason why Stan Lee's Marvel was so huge. The people suddenly in comic books felt relatable, right? The austere, like somewhat royal DC pantheon, right, weren't that relatable and weren't written in a relatable parlance, whereas the Marvel was. Now, I think this is just taking it on another 20 years. Specifically addressing the idea of superheroes not killing, Dixon says, now, as far as superheroes don't kill, Wolverine certainly kills. We see other comic book heroes, superheroes who kill. It's hard to read Captain America didn't kill a lot of Nazis. Well, he did hit a lot of them. I imagine if Captain America socks you in the jaw, you're going to die, right? I imagine that would happen. But, I think is they don't revel in killing. They would like to try and avoid killing. Whereas the Punisher is like, yes, oh, I'm good at this. And I want to do this more, right? Yes. Yep, sorry. Doink. He didn't take them all prisoner. So this is a misnomer. Single out Frank Castle because kills people, if that's their argument, it's an inaccurate one. They don't care about inaccurate arguments. They like inaccurate arguments. I'm discussing how America embraced Archie Bunker and all the family. Now, Archie Bunker was a remake of In Sickness Health with Alf Garnett. And I think, I think they both did the same thing for culture. There was racism in the past. Absolutely, there was bigotry in the past. I agree, there's bigotry now. But there was acceptable bigotry. And I think by lampooning it, by saying how silly it was, right, it allowed us to move beyond it, to laugh at it and say, that's over now. Right? I think both Alf Garnett and Archie Bunker did exactly the same thing. He noted the Punisher followed a similar trajectory where the blue-collar Americans embraced the character while New York elites and writers were horrified at the results, but nevertheless, they were still willing to make cash of the character despite their distaste for it. Dixon then detailed this change for the Punisher when new people took over at Marvel and they were just really, really embarrassed about everything about the Punisher because particularly as audience, they didn't like the Punisher and they didn't like the people who liked the Punisher. Yeah, isn't that so incredible? Oh God, look at this awful new logo. Isn't that like so incredibly clear, right? How much they hate you, right? Now, that's what all progressivism is. We're moving on from you, right? Because we hate you because excuse me, the world was a lot better, right? The world was a hell of a lot better, right? Yeah. Do I have that tweet up here? No, I've lost it. I closed it. Stupid. Never mind. Here, maybe I can pull it up again. In history. Is this the one? No. Let me look at all history. 1 second. It was a Twitter page. McCarthy. There we go. Doink. Again, I mean, just like that. This was a president for working people. Because this is the president that benefited working people, right? Because working people make up the vast majority of America, right? I just think Trump loved America and loved Americans, right? I really do. He then pointed to the tipping point, and I think all this really came to a head when our military and police began using the Punisher's skull symbol on their uniforms. I mean, literally painting it on the sides of armored personnel characters like Bradley fighting machines in Iraq. And suddenly the public were seeing the Punisher skull symbol, many of them for the first time, non-comic book readers. They didn't know what the symbol was, and it was popping up everywhere on car windows and things like that. And they, as I said, they actually on military vehicles in Iraq. And now, cops are wearing the symbol. Ew, our soldiers are wearing the symbol. Oh, boo-hoo. Boo, boo, boo. We don't like them. We don't like them. We don't like. Yeah, again, if they reinstate a draft, which seems inevitable, I mean, it seems to be by next summer, there'll be a massive recession and a world war and a military draft, right? It seems like that's where we're going to be, right? Again, I thought that would be happening this summer, but I'm always at least a year out, right? It seems to be that way. We're going to take the Punisher, and we're going to mangle him down, and we're going to destroy him. We're going to do what no other entertainment company has ever done. We're going to purposely take one of our intellectual properties and tear it down to the ground. And that's what they did. And they did it for that reason. They did it because they hated the Punisher and everything he represented, right? He absolutely hated him. Any other lofty reason they gave was BS. The main reason they wanted to get rid of the Punisher was because they hated the Punisher and they hate you for liking it. It's that simple. 100% correct, right? Dixon then concluded by rhetorically questioning why else would they want? Would they do what they did in the ham-handed Soviet-style deconstruction of extremely popular fictional character? Well, they did it in pretty much everything. They hate the past. They hate America. They hate everything it was built on. Right? It's just this sheer hatred. Who would do that? Why would they do that? They don't like you. It's that simple. And again, this comes from college education. Like college educated elites, they look down at anybody who didn't have that idiotic background. That's why people go into debt to have these ridiculous degrees that mean nothing, that you can do nothing with. These social studies stupidities. Right, but they all like transgenderism is just all, you're just all part of that same club. Back in February 2022, Dixon also posited that the current club of Marvel lovers not only have contempt for the Punisher, but a deep-seated dislike of the police and military as well. Well, listen, the Summer of Love, the Floyd riots showed that. By the way, and it's always worth mentioning that George Floyd died. George Floyd died with a lethal dose of fentanyl in his system, right? They just convicted another cop for 4 years for not doing anything, like for holding back the crowd. I don't understand. He said, quite frankly, when I was at Marvel writing Punisher in the 90s, there were quite a few editors who didn't like the Punisher. That's fine, but they like money. Now they couldn't care less. All these socialist moron children. They sure like to have him show up in their books because it would increase sales. They didn't like him as a character, and Marvel didn't seek those kind of readers even then. They certainly didn't seek the kind of readers that would like the Punisher now. In addition, and again, it's they wouldn't sell the rights to the character so somebody else could use it. They wanted it destroyed and erased forever, right? And again, this kind of salting of the earth. And again, I think Trump represents all of that, right? I think it absolutely does. I think the current crowd have a deep-seated hate for the military as well. So it's the old gang of deplorables thing. They don't want to deal with them. They don't like them. They don't like the idea that they use the symbol. And I don't think they quite understand why the police and military adopted the Punisher symbol. We continued because it's cool, right? After discussing, again, it's more like, a modern take on the bat signal. It was a violent symbol of vengeance and righteousness, right? After discussing the Punisher's iconic symbol, the Dixon also added, the woke crowd at Marvel are changing the symbol and changing Punisher's entire modus operandi. He's carrying a samurai sword now because they are embarrassed. They are embarrassed to be associated with people who probably don't care, probably don't share their worldview. And that's simply as simple as it gets. Yeah, look, you can just see it so clearly. It's classism, essentially. And they don't hate. And do they hate their fans? Well, yeah. Except they've converted so many of their fans into non-fans. So now, so many of them have followed Marvel for years, and they have stopped. He posited, have gone away, have left comics, and looking for something alternative to do to what Marvel is offering. Well, again, I mean, don't go to DC; they're even bloody worse. That's like compare. You want to compare America to England? It's like comparing Marvel to DC, right? Yeah, like it can't be that. And then you look at DC; it's so much worse. Is it a bad business model? Of course, but generally, comic book companies, the big two in particular, are kind of clueless about their own readership. They don't know who is reading. They don't reach out to new readers, and they don't care to find out what. Okay, they don't care about anything, right? They care about being right, and that's basically it. How much more does this go on for? Basically done. But more editor out of the way. He's ready to supplant the Punisher with Black Warrant. Okay, fine. He's working on a new thing. Plug. Yeah. Okay. So it's a hatred and a deconstruction, and a destruction, not a deconstruction, a destruction of normal, traditional American Western values, right? And we see it right here as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja and Jodie Whittaker, Doctor Who, right? I mean, like, it wasn't about, let's be inclusive. It was about a destruction of a worldview that they hated. And it seems so bloody clear now, in hindsight. I wish I could go back to 2015 and say, you'll never believe what's going to happen, right? You'll never believe what's going to happen. Why? What could possibly happen? I don't know. What could it be? This is Doctor Who. Ah! Ah!
This is what I thought we'd go for.
It's just like you can't watch that enough and understand. It's like, what the hell's going on, right? What the hell's going on? Colin Archer says, what their names to get was Alf Garner and Rigsby and Eddie Love Thy Neighbor. I know. And now Don Warrington, he should have been the Doctor instead of Colin Baker, right? He was the perfect age then, right? He would have been a great Doctor, Don Warrington in '85. They were the butt of their jokes. Of course, that was 100%. That's correct, right? People were going, yay! They were going, oh, it's so embarrassing. That used to be me. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, right? But honestly, there is racism around. I think that's the aberration rather than the norm, right? I mean, I think just as a basic human drive, we are driven to connect with one another, right? I really do. Philip Bogan is here. A neo-national said that Alf Garnett, he agreed with the character. So the actor said Alf is supposed to be a laughing joke. He was Jewish. Yeah, it was Warren Mitchell, right? I remember Warren Mitchell being, who was a big lefty, right? Being interviewed. And he's saying, I base it on somebody I knew growing up when I was a kid, who was like this working class person who says, I once borrowed a pair of boots to walk 7 miles to vote Tory. And it was like, well, you're voting against your, like, they put so much out. And that was, I think, one of the things that drove him. Speaking of destroying things, look at this. Like, okay, we're going to make April O'Neil black. Well, that seems weird. But, okay, hot black woman. I no, fat, ugly black woman. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Man character designer James A. Castillo says, April O'Neil tend to look relatable and grounded in the real world. No, she looks like a fat cunt that nobody will want to talk to. Do I still have that Greta clip? Oh, I think I got rid of it yesterday. Can I pull that back up again? Do I still have it? Because that clip was pure gold. Here, okay, I'm going to try something. Going to go to my time machine backup while I'm doing a live stream. I don't know if this is going to work, right? I don't know if this is going to work. Let's go back to yesterday. Like, I hope I'm still transmitting. A second. Let's try that. Is opening up? It's thinking about it. I could just get it off Twitter, I guess. Where is it? Was it there? No. Here, one second. Let's go to this one. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Restore that. Look, here's the thing. I went blank like that. But here's the thing. To be relatable. Was he really redheaded? Of course, she's black now. Yeah, that's essentially all. To be relatable, look, people respond well to attractive people, right? If you're attractive, you have a better life because people are nicer to you because you're attractive. It's built into us, right? We like people more who are attractive, right? So, yeah, 1 second. The wrong folder. I think I got to keep this. This is just pure brilliance. Oh, wait, what's the thing called again? Called Greta. There we go. Doink. I mean, like again, we're looking at the unfuckables. Greta Thunberg. Look at what is it?
Do you guys ever think about dying?
Like what? Yeah, this isn't relatable. This doesn't make anybody feel comfortable. Right? This doesn't make anybody feel comfortable. No one's comfortable with like retardo, okay? There's no one. No one. Oh, I mean, honestly, I think most women can have sex anytime they want, apart from Greta Thunberg. So, relatable. Excuse me, mate. James A. Castillo. Do you like fat, ugly women? Do you relate to them well, do you? In what may go down as one of the most insulting attempts at inclusivity in the history of Western entertainment, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Man character designer James A. Castillo has revealed the film's widely panned take on April O'Neil was intended to make the character relatable to modern audiences. Why? Do modern audiences like fat, ugly? And she's also got slits all over her face. Why can't you make her look hot? Again, the function of April O'Neil was a prepubescent masturbatory fantasy, right? You even before you can masturbate, right? You just feel like all warm and tingly, and you know there's something you want to do. You just don't know what it is, but you think you want to do quite a lot of it. As seen in the film, rather than resembling any of her fan favorites, the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles incarnation, Mutant Man's version of April bears appearance more in line with her reptilian allies. Yeah, she looks like the what's it called again? The bad guys. You know, what with the mohawk who was the boar, I think. And yeah, she looks like a villain. Rather than looking like the white, thick, curly hair, brown-haired heroine that had come to know and love, this latest April is instead a slightly frumpy, I think, not slightly, real again. You want to be turned on by April O'Neil. Why are fat black women more relatable? Says Mustang McKee. I don't know. What makes them more relatable? I don't know. But they are, apparently, according to James Castillo, according to the aforementioned Castillo, despite her appearance also being stereotypical of the various identity politics fueled character design philosophies. I mean, yeah. Look at like the brick shit house that beat Joel to death in The Last of Us 2, right? And like, mate, like female, we need more inclusion. We need more women, but let's not make them like women. Let's make sure they don't have tits, all right? Because that's more normal. And we're taking root in modern Hollywood that it could be genuinely considered to be parody. Every single aspect was genuinely meant to be champion the concept of representation. Sharing, I mean, yes, this does look like, but there's so much look like parody. The Queen Latifah Equalizer looks like a parody to me, right? That looks like something they would do on 30 Rock, right? It looks like a parody. Again, I don't want to go back to 63. 2015 was fine, mate, right? It was absolutely fine. If I can go in like a 2005 to 2015 loop, that would be great for me. Sharing a number of her design sheets on Twitter on August 4th, the character designer explained, when I joined #Mutant Mayhem, my first assignment was to work on April O'Neil. No pressure. Well, I honestly, they should have fired you with the first. Yeah, when you started showing your shit, they should have fired you instantly, right? We tried to make her relatable and grounded in the real world. No, make her spankable. Oh, make her that you want to put her in the spank bank. I mean, listen, there's a reason they cast Megan Fox as her, and Megan Fox is hot, okay? In the real world, while keeping some of the details that make her so like, what detail did you keep that made her iconic? Like, again, what about April O'Neil do you go, oh, fat, ugly chick? Yeah, it's good that you made her fat and ugly, because I'm not complaining about her being black, right? Which is always harder to defend. But why did you make her a fat, ugly chick? I don't understand, right? I don't know that. This is Mindy Kailig's April O'Neil, right? Only less attractive. Here, I personally love her in the film. Well, you're in a group of one, right? The like millions of Teenage Mutant Ninja fans are like, fuck this, right? You are literally in a group of one. You dumb cunt. Yes, you are a dumb cunt. Notably, it seems that the only details that the Mutant Mayhem team considered visually iconic was April's character, was a name, hair color, and it doesn't even have that red a hair, right? And association with the color yellow. In all fairness, despite the desire to give April dreads, the middle design on Castillo's early concept sheet does attempt to retain her curly hair. Let me look. Yeah, it doesn't really. I mean, like, look at how those pants are pulled up. Again, this is a female Urkel. This is not April fucking Nail, you morons, right? I mean, we use the word cultural vandalism quite readily here, but this is cultural vandalism, right? Cultural vandalism because this guy, James Castillo, is, I don't know, somehow ashamed of having masturbatory fantasies. No. Okay, every fucking human being has masturbatory fantasies. You know, man. You know, I can never understand, particularly religious Jewish people, not being able to admit they're wrong. And that's like 99.9% of people. But like, you know, if you believe this bullshit, right? If you believe the Bible's real, God created the Bible to give you some kind of insight about life, you'll notice in the Old Testament anyway, none of the characters are saints. Everybody fucks up, right? Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, that's literally the point of showing the fallibility of the biblical characters. They can look up at them and say, look at that fuck up. If he fucked up and made good, maybe maybe a fuck up like me can make good too, right? It's okay to say you're wrong, right? No. Can't say you're wrong. Well, 3 of the 4 sheets by DeVillo depict various test work for the version of April. I mean, this is also driven by elitist guilt, right? They look around at how shitty they are to the rest of the world and how much better they have it than the rest of the world, right? And they feel guilty, right? And they think, oh no, I feel guilty because I'm white. And white people have oppressed the black people. Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll give you some cast-offs. Yeah, we'll give you April O'Neil. We'll give you Little Mermaid. Yeah, we'll do that for you. And you know what we'll do? Because we're such good people, right? We're such good fucking people. That's why we're doing this, right? Not because you're narcissistic cunts, because we're just wonderful, great people. No, you're narcissistic cunts. It's essentially what you are. To this end, given the insight provided by the same tweet regarding his approach to design, the dumpy, frazzled, frumpy, I would say, potato-esque, yes, potato-esque nature of these initial approaches raises a curious question at what qualities Casilla is relatable to a wide audience. Yeah, again, I look at these people and I don't want to look at these people, right? I mean, I think that's fair. I look at these people and I do not want to look at these people, right? I look at like real white paper now. Let me pull up the picture. And I don't want to stop. 1 second. There we go. Yeah. I look at this April O'Neil. You know, I mean, it does look like she's about to be in a porn gangbang movie, doesn't it? Which I don't. I'm not really, you know, that opposed to, quite frankly. But yeah. I like looking at this April O'Neil. Yes, I do. Why? Because I'm a heterosexual male, like 98% of the rest of the fucking world, mate. Right? Like, yes, I have a libido. And that's how you used to sell shit to me. Not, and look, if this is turning you on, you need to go to a fucking doctor. Right? My wife must be Jewish. She thinks she's never old. No, that means she's female. And for the women audience, I'm only saying that to keep the fragile egos of the males at bay. You see, that's how you deal with things, right? That's how you deal with things, ladies and gentlemen. Following the publication, Casilla Seat was unsurprisingly met with mixed reactions with fans of the film, expressing appreciation of his contribution and criticizing critics pushing back against the unnecessary alienating of the iconic character's appearance. Engaging with both sides, the designer would address his supporters by retweeting handfuls of their compliments. Turning to his critics, Casilla would simply retweet strange parties who exclaimed, the replies are a free block list. Oh my god, a free block. Oh my god, what is wrong with what is wrong, people? Okay, because they always want to say that whenever anybody goes and says anything bad about them, there's violence. It's violence. No words of violence, and you're being violent to me, so I now can hit you. As noted, Mutant Mayhem April appears little in common with most of her predecessors. She is the second version of the character to be portrayed as a nerdy bisexual black woman in the Turtles 98 to 2020 animated out of Nickelodeon, which did very badly. She was similarly reassigned as she has red hair, obviously, so it should be black. But at least she's fuckable in this. Right? At least, I mean, again, she's a cartoon. You're going to get a lot of ink on you. But at least she's, like, again, spankable. Right? Yes. You can put her in the spank bank. It'll work. I don't know why she's not wearing a yellow jacket. She's wearing a green jacket. A quick black girl who, rather than a reporter, was a martial artist on par with the Turtles themselves. Well, that's shit. I mean, like, why can't somebody be better than you? I forgot this. Because you're a insecure moron. Further, though, many defenders of April's race swapping in both Rise and Mutants Mayhem have long attempted to claim that she was initially depicted as black in the Eastman and Laird original. Was she? Comic book series. There is nothing more than a misconception taken on a life of its own. Well, why do you have a picture from the original? If I click this, will it show me the original April now? She looks so awful. Wait. Do we have a? Do we see this here? No, I mean, again, at least she's like doesn't repulse me, right? There she goes. Is she? April O'Neil assists Dr. Stockman in presenting the Mouser prototype in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1, Number 2, Teenage Mutant versus the Mousers. There is studios words on by Kevin Eastman. So, I mean, she could be black, I guess, and that doesn't look like it. Do we have any more pictures? Okay, no, right? This change combined with the black and white nature of the book led to many to misinterpret the Turtles' longtime friend as being a black woman. I think you could go, oh man, it's frozen here. I think you could go either way on this, right? Let me close that down. Like I honestly, I wouldn't be that mad if okay, she's clearly white by then, by issue 28, right? But again, I race swapping, I don't think does it matter. Well, it was after my time. I mean, the Turtles, right? It was really after my time. So it's not like iconic to me. But it seems like the race swapping that character doesn't really affect it to me. But make her hot, for God. I mean, like what? You've never seen a hot black woman before? There's a lot of them about, right? There is a lot of them about. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.